Welcome to the Marketing Behind Rapid Growth, the podcast where we explore the strategies, decisions, and growth engines behind some of the world's most successful technology companies. Today we're talking about Grammarly. Most people have experienced the same moment. You're about to send an important email. Maybe it's a job application. Maybe it's a message to a client. Maybe it's a proposal that could determine the future of a project. You read the text one more time, then again. And suddenly, a small doubt appears. Did I use the right word? Does this sentence sound professional? Did I miss a typo? Will this make me look careless? The fear is rarely about grammar itself. It's about what bad writing might communicate about us. In a world where work increasingly happens through screens, writing has become one of the most important signals of competence, intelligence, and professionalism. That anxiety created one of the biggest software opportunities of the last 15 years, and that opportunity became Grammarly. What makes Grammarly fascinating isn't simply that it built a better grammar checker, it's that the company built an entire growth engine around one of the most universal insecurities in professional life. This is the story of how Grammarly transformed writing assistance into a habit, a platform, and eventually a multi-billion-dollar business. The origins: solving a problem. Hidden in plain sight. The story begins in 2009. Founders Max Litvin, Alex Shevchenko, and Dmytro Lider were not strangers to language technology. Before Grammarly, they had built MyDropBox, a plagiarism detection platform used by universities and educational institutions. That experience exposed them to a larger pattern. Students constantly struggled with writing, not only plagiarism, grammar, clarity, structure, confidence, and these challenges didn't disappear after graduation. In fact, they became even more important. Professionals wrote emails, managers wrote reports. Salespeople wrote outreach messages. Lawyers drafted contracts, marketers created campaigns. Everyone was writing, yet very few people felt completely confident about it. The founders recognized a simple insight. Writing quality affects opportunities. A small mistake can influence perceptions. A confusing sentence can create misunderstanding. A poorly written email can weaken trust. The opportunity wasn't simply correcting grammar, the opportunity was helping people communicate with confidence. The first market: education. Like many startups, Grammarly began by serving a market that seemed obvious: education. Students write constantly. Schools care about writing quality. Universities already understood the importance of language skills. At first glance, the strategy made perfect sense. But there was a problem. Educational institutions move slowly. Sales cycles are long. Decision-making is complex. And perhaps most importantly, institutions create distance between the company and the actual user. The people paying for Grammarly weren't always the people using Grammarly. That separation limited learning. The founders gradually realized something important. The real opportunity wasn't universities, it was individuals, the student, the job seeker, the marketer, the executive, the entrepreneur, the salesperson, the professional staring at a blinking cursor. The moment Grammarly shifted closer to end users, everything changed. A critical strategic decision. Many software companies try to create new habits. Grammarly did something smarter. It attached itself to an existing habit. People already write every day. The company didn't need to convince users to create new behavior. It only needed to improve behavior that already existed. This distinction is incredibly important. Building new habits is expensive. Improving existing habits is much easier. The best product-led companies often succeed because they become part of workflows people already have. Slack improved workplace communication. Dropbox improved file storage. Zoom improved meetings. Grammarly improved writing. The habit already existed. The product simply made it better. The product breakthrough. In its early years, Grammarly operated primarily through a web editor. Users would copy text, paste it into Grammarly, review corrections, then move the text back. The value was obvious, but the friction was significant. Every additional step reduced usage. The breakthrough came when Grammarly stopped behaving like a destination. Instead, it became infrastructure. The company launched browser extensions, desktop applications, mobile keyboards, integrations across multiple writing environments. Suddenly, Grammarly wasn't somewhere users visited. It was simply there. Writing an email? Grammarly appeared. Creating a document? Grammarly appeared. Posting on LinkedIn? Grammarly appeared. Sending a Slack message? Grammarly appeared. The product arrived at the exact moment users needed it. This dramatically reduced friction, and it created one of the most powerful product-led growth loops in software. The power of instant value. One of the reasons Grammarly grew so quickly is that its value becomes visible almost immediately. Many software products require onboarding, training, setup, configuration, learning curves. Grammarly requires almost none of that. A typo appears, the product highlights it. The user clicks, the mistake disappears. Value delivered. The first aha moment often happens within seconds. That's incredibly rare and incredibly powerful. Every correction reinforces trust. Every improvement strengthens habit. Every successful interaction increases the probability of future usage. Over time, these tiny moments compound. Thousands of small improvements create long-term loyalty. This is one of the purest examples of product-led growth. The product continuously proves its value without requiring persuasion. Turning search into a growth engine. But product alone wasn't responsible for Grammarly's rise. Marketing played a critical role, and Grammarly's marketing strategy began with a simple observation. People search for help when they feel uncertain. Think about queries like effect versus effect, who versus whom, how to write a professional email, comma before which, how to start a cover letter. These are not casual searches, they're signals of intent. Someone is struggling with a writing problem right now, and they're actively looking for a solution. Grammarly built an enormous content operation around these moments. The company created articles, guides, explanations, templates, and educational resources that directly addressed common writing challenges. This wasn't traditional branding content, it was problem-solving content. The goal wasn't simply traffic, the goal was activation. Someone arrives looking for an answer. They receive help. Then they discover Grammarly. The journey from problem recognition to product usage becomes seamless. This is one of the company's most important strategic advantages. The content wasn't separate from the product. It led directly into the product experience. Content as product marketing. Many companies think of content marketing as awareness generation. Grammarly treated it differently. Content became a product demonstration. Every article showed expertise. Every explanation highlighted the complexity of writing. Every guide subtly reinforced the value of having assistance. The content educated users while simultaneously creating demand. This approach remains one of the most effective content marketing models in SaaS. Instead of telling people why they need the product, show them the problem the product solves. Grammarly mastered this principle. Expanding beyond consumers. As Grammarly grew, another challenge emerged. The company had successfully attracted individual users, but larger opportunities existed: teams, businesses, organizations, enterprises. The question became, how do you make Grammarly relevant beyond personal writing? The answer was segmentation. A student worries about grades. A salesperson worries about response rates. A marketer worries about brand consistency. A manager worries about communication quality. A recruiter worries about candidate outreach. The underlying product remains the same, but the reason to care changes. Grammarly's marketing evolved to reflect these differences. Campaigns became more contextual. Messaging became more personalized. The company stopped talking only about grammar. It started talking about outcomes: professionalism, productivity, trust, clarity, collaboration. This expanded the market dramatically. The psychology of conversion. Perhaps the most interesting part of Grammarly's business model is how it converts free users into paying customers. Many software products rely on aggressive restrictions. Grammarly took a more subtle approach. The free product delivers real value. Spelling corrections, grammar improvements, basic recommendations. Users can accomplish a lot without paying, but as they continue writing, they encounter additional opportunities. Clarity suggestions, tone recommendations, fluency improvements, advanced rewriting features. The product doesn't force the upgrade. It reveals the possibility of improvement. And crucially, it does so at moments when the stakes feel high. writing a resume, preparing a proposal, communicating with a client, submitting an application. The perceived value of better writing increases dramatically in these situations. This makes conversion feel natural. Users aren't buying features, they're buying confidence. That's a very different psychological proposition. Building habit through progress. Another underrated aspect of Grammarly's growth strategy is how it reinforces achievement. Many users receive weekly reports, words written, mistakes corrected, productivity metrics, writing insights. These reports transform invisible activity into visible progress. The effect is subtle but important. Instead of feeling like a utility, Grammarly begins to feel like a personal improvement system. The user isn't simply correcting mistakes, they're becoming a better communicator. That perception strengthens retention, and retention is often more valuable than acquisition. Why Grammarly won? Looking back, Grammarly's success appears obvious, but it wasn't inevitable. Many companies attempted writing tools. Many companies invested in language technology. Few achieved the same scale. So why did Grammarly win? First, it attached itself to an existing habit. People already wrote every day. Second, it delivered value immediately. Users didn't need extensive onboarding. Third, it integrated directly into workflows. The product met users where they already worked. Fourth, content marketing captured demand at the moment of need. Fifth, conversion occurred through relevance rather than pressure. And finally, the company understood something deeper than grammar. It understood psychology. Most people don't want perfect grammar. They want confidence. They want to feel respected. They want to communicate clearly. They want to avoid embarrassment. They want to sound professional. Grammarly built its entire growth engine around those emotional realities. The strategic lesson. For founders, marketers, and product leaders, Grammarly offers an important lesson. The strongest growth systems often emerge when product and marketing reinforce the same emotional problem. The product solves the problem. The content explains the problem. The advertising highlights the consequences of the problem. The upgrade prompts appear when the problem matters most. Everything works together. Too many companies treat product and marketing as separate functions. Grammarly demonstrates what happens when they become part of the same system. The company didn't simply create a writing assistant, it created a confidence platform. And because confidence is a need that never disappears, Grammarly continues to remain relevant even as technology evolves. Conclusion. Grammarly's rise from a niche educational tool to one of the most recognized productivity platforms in the world was not driven by a single breakthrough. It was the result of product discipline, user empathy, content strategy, behavioral psychology, and exceptional execution. The company succeeded because it solved a problem people experience every day. Then it made the solution visible at exactly the right moment. In the end, Grammarly wasn't selling grammar correction. It was selling confidence. And in a world where communication increasingly defines professional success, confidence turned out to be a remarkably valuable product. This was the marketing behind rapid growth. See you in the next episode.